everybody out there. Happy Friday. Today is Convention Friday.
That's right. We're at the Days of the Dead convention here in Rosemont, Illinois. We're at the Fang table. We're about to start selling some Fang DVDs and Blu-rays.
Oh yeah, I'm Isabela, Rangel.
I'm Richard Burgin.
And we're gonna have fun tonight.
It's gonna be amazing.
Oh yeah, I'll take you guys with me in this journey. Woohoo!
Hopefully gonna sell some paintings, handing out these business cards and the flyers for Monster Girls and Best Served Cold, which are documentaries that my good friend John Dunn is the executive producer on, and which I am the marketing coordinator on by getting these flyers made. And here are our little rats, and that rat is holding up the business card over there. We got it in a good position, so he's holding it up.
Oh yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great night. Oh hi, would you?
You're uncomfortably holding it. Make sure you get a picture of him. He's got a woman. Right next to Mike. It looks like a Burgin.
Hello everybody out there. Happy Wednesday. I'm Isabela Rangel.
And I'm Richard Burgin.
Tonight we'll talk about Barbarella, 1968, a fantastic sci-fi psychedelic movie.
It's very psychedelic. I remember we read a review where they described it as plastic psychedelic, and I think that's a great description for a lot of the sets. And I think it's really an example of, for a movie that was filmed entirely on sound stages, how the artificial look can be really powerful and compelling when you want to create this otherworldly feeling.
Yeah, the set designer, costume designer.
It was really incredible.
It was incredible. The makeup too was really good. So it was directed by Roger Vadim. Barbarella is based on the French comic series with the same name. Barbarella traveled the space looking for Duran Duran, a crazy, surreal adventure.
And I did not know that the band Duran Duran got their name from Barbarella. Well, you got to get your name from somewhere, but that was a pretty cool legacy for this movie to have. And Duran Duran is a very memorable villain. He comes up with some, like, an orgasm torture machine.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
What was your favorite scene? Besides the credits, because the credits.
Yeah, the credits is right at the beginning. It really grabs your attention without any. I guess you can't really spoil the opening credits, since if you watch like 5 minutes of the movie, you'll see that it starts out on this spaceship. It is covered entirely in shag carpets, which is very 60s. Anybody who's seen pictures of, houses from back then, or who grew up back then, will remember like this very kind of thick brown carpet, like having your living room papered over with a giant mustache. And so we see this spaceship, and then Jane Fonda as Barbarella comes into the scene, and it's zero gravity, and she starts getting undressed. She starts taking off her spacesuit and then everything underneath the spacesuit as well.
In a very sexy way. Oh, yeah, it's very remarkable, unforgettable scene.
Oh, yeah, one of many unforgettable scenes. And then the first planet she lands on has these little dolls that start like attacking her. And that was very creepy.
Yeah.
Scene, actually. For a non-horror movie, I think they did
very good.
They did, yeah, a great job making it feel very, nightmarish, that it's kind of coming to life and attacking you.
Yeah, these creepy dolls, and they have fangs. Really, yeah, and they start attacking her, and she's like screaming, and getting her clothes are getting ripped off by the dolls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, and I think, I personally, I do not do drugs. I am not in favor of doing drugs, and I don't wish to do LSD or anything like that myself, but I think if any argument could be made in favor of dropping acid, it would be that presumably the writer and directors, I'm guessing they dropped acid while making this movie.
To be able to create all
and
these
come up with a lot of very creative
Yes, it's very
stuff.
surrealistic. The set design is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The outfits.
That's really
Jane
wild.
Fonda outfits are incredible. Very well designed.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, they really put so much imagination and creativity into this movie, and honestly, there's a lot of stuff in Barbarella that seems like it was influential on sci-fi movies that were made after this.
Even Star Wars, the dark...
The Empire, Evil Empire.
Yes, it looks like one of the villains.
It does, yeah.
in the movie.
And I got some Brazil vibes from it. I got some Matrix vibes from it. And this was well before either of those movies were made. So that's pretty incredible. But she took some kind of pill, not a red pill or a blue pill, but it was some kind of pill for this.
That's pretty cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is like how they do on Earth. They take the pill.
Oh, yeah, and it simulates, it gives you the feeling of having sexual intercourse, only you just hold your hand up, and then they had a nice effect of like her hair blowing, and the guy's hair was blowing.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, the sexual appeal, the whole movie, even the angel, Pygar.
No, Pygar was cool.
Yes, he has those huge wings, but he's a very muscular, blonde guy.
Oh, yeah. An angel cannot make love. An angel is love.
Oh, yeah. Pygar. Yeah, and then there was the room, for the queen that was.
Oh yeah, that was such a cool room. Her inner sanctum bedroom. That was a pretty incredible design, and this is the best argument, in favor of filming on sound stages with sets that were constructed, no CGI or anything like that. This was well before CGI existed, but they came up with some incredible set designs, and I think that makes it feel, well, it does feel very much like a movie that was made in 1968, but it also feels kind of ahead of its time while feeling very of its time.
Avant-garde.
At the same time, in a sense, yeah.
Yes, and then the invisible key. I need the invisible key.
Yeah, lots. We need a lot of invisible stuff that's always really cool. Any kind of invisibility.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, And it was filmed in a studio in Rome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember we read about that.
Oh, yeah, that was like in the 60s and 70s. That was the heyday of movies being produced in Italy. It was a very popular thing. They made a lot of the spaghetti westerns. They were pretending that Italy was the the West in America, and they made a lot of giallos in Italy in the 70s. And they also made Barbarella, despite it, but it feels like a movie that was made in Europe and not America, even though it's all in English.
It does. No, it's based on a French comic book.
Oh, yeah, and
so
Roger Vadim was French, the director.
Yeah, it has the European feeling to it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then they were considering Brigitte Bardot to do Barbarella role.
Oh, yeah, no, I can totally see that. She looks a lot like Jane Fonda back then. Oh, yeah.
And I think it represents the 60s very well.
It does, yeah.
It does, with the clothing and everything and the music. And a little bit the 70s because it was the end of the 60s.
Well, the 70s would be a lot sleazier if it was made in the 70s.
It would be everybody completely
there would be a lot more.
Yes.
A lot more of that. I mean, she would be. That Pygar would, be shedding his angel outfit if it was made like 10 years later.
That is
true. He
true.
would be an angel who it not only is love, but also an angel who makes love.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, but this movie is really cool.
It is, yeah.
We truly recommend, highly recommend.
It is really incredible. I think it got a cult following for being kind of a campy movie, but I think it is pretty incredible, all of the imagination that went into it and designing everything, and I think it holds up very well for a movie that is over 50 years old now. It feels very, very entertaining, very compelling to watch, and, who says you need, like, all the modern special effects? You don't. I like the kind of very surreal, artificial-looking effects. I think that's really cool.
I think it depends on what you want.
What you want to convey,
Yeah, that's all what depends.
Absolutely,
yeah. We don't need to have super high technology.
No, yeah.
And if we have a good script, that's what matters, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's a storytelling.
It is, yeah.
So that's what we're doing, telling a story through the movies.
Oh, yeah. And definitely it was a very imaginative script, coming up with these different areas on the planet, and that was the part that made me think of, like, The Matrix got some inspiration from this, where they have the section in Duran Duran's lair where all of his servants are kind of plugged into this kind of dark labyrinth with all of these tentacle cords, and that's kind of feels like that. And then Pygar is... Well, I like that Pygar is very deadpan. His acting, he doesn't have a lot of range, but I think that works for his character.
But he makes it looks like he's real blind.
Yeah, they did. They put in contacts or something. Good.
And he's not looking at Janie Fonda or anyone in particular.
Just like that.
So he did a pretty good job.
Oh, yeah.
Playing a blind
No, he
person.
did a great job. And that was probably... Well, I know there was the movie with Audrey Hepburn, I think, that was made around that time, where she plays a blind woman, but I don't think there were too many movies made back then that were showing disabilities. So I think, without intending to, that was kind of ahead of its time.
Yeah, and I really like the set design where they had the stones.
Oh, that was really cool.
People were immersed in the stones. That was really nice.
That was, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the whole movie, it's pretty good. It's spectacular.
It is, yeah. No, I mean, there's a reason why people are still talking about this, over half a century after it came out, and why people have been talking about making a remake or sequels pretty much continuously since the original, is that, I think, because there were never any sequels to it, but it's something that people want to go back to.
Yeah.
And people want to see more of this world, since what we saw, like, I guess in the less than 2 hours of the movie, was very colorful and memorable, and I guess, from now on, whenever I listen to Duran Duran, I'm going to be thinking of the first Duran Duran.
Yeah. Definitely. And they want to do a sequel, right?
No, I mean, they've been talking about doing the sequel since right after it was finished. I guess it didn't make that much money when it came out, but I can sympathize with that.
Yeah, because back then I think sci-fi was not that popular.
No, not
Now
as
it's
popular
very
now.
popular.
Yeah.
Now the sci-fi is the new like Western.
Oh yeah,
That's what
ever
we
since
call-
Star Wars, it's been
Yeah.
Western and space. But I think,
Yeah.
and now we live in a much more sci-fi dystopian kind of
Yeah.
world. There's a lot of things that are going on now that seem like it would have been in a futuristic dystopian movie like 50 years ago or 60 years ago. Like Big Brother is always watching you. Well, now he kind of is, but he just doesn't really
Yeah.
give a shit what you're doing because most people are not that not what Big Brother is looking for by watching them.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah, a lot of things, that was very popular back then. Now it's back.
Yeah.
I feel like we are very nostalgic of that era.
Oh yeah, all the
late
decades.
late
60s,
60s and
70s.
70s.
All the
Yes.
decades in the 20th century have kind of this kind of nostalgic appeal in the 21st century. I guess that was a very, if you look at 1900 and you look at 1999, there was an
Mhm.
incredible amount of changes
Yeah.
in that period of time. Like the early 20th century was more like the 19th century or even the 18th century.
Yeah.
And the 60s probably had the most changes of any of the
Yeah.
decades. When you look at like the beginning of the 60s, it's like everything is still black and white mostly. It's
Yeah.
like short hair. And then like in 1969 and 8, it's like, whoa, what the hell happened?
Yeah. No, 69 was when the man went to the moon.
Oh
right?
yeah,
the
the
first
moon
time.
landing.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty. I think people will always be fascinated by that era, and certainly for a lot of millennials, our parents were baby boomers who grew up in the 60s.
Yeah.
And so that has a kind of a nice nostalgic feeling, which is like, hey, my mom and my dad introduced me to some of this stuff, like
Yeah.
the Beatles
Yeah,
and
me
Bob
too.
Dylan and
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
And they predict the video call. All this.
They did. They had the video call.
They had the video call.
They had that in 2001 too.
Yeah, the Jetsons.
Oh yeah, they saw that coming
Yeah.
because I guess when everybody was talking on the phone back then with no
image.
so they figured,
One
this is gonna
day,
happen.
This is gonna
Phone
happen.
plus TV, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the holographic image, like
Oh,
very
yeah.
similar to a person next to you.
I'm still waiting for flying cars.
That's you.
I don't want to be
That's
sitting
you.
in traffic
Oh yeah.
so much.
That
I
would
want to
be
fly
really good.
over
Yeah,
traffic.
Yeah, like Blade Runner.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, even that Barbarella had a
A
little,
little bit of Blade Runner
Yeah,
vibe
I mean, Blade Runner got influenced
by it. A little bit, I think.
Yeah,
It did, like,
because
it does
has
have...
also the dark, dystopian.
Like, it
kind
is
of, a little bit.
surprisingly dark movie at times for what people would expect, because
For
I
the
think
60s.
people, go into it expecting this kind of, like, sci-fi sex comedy, which it is.
It is.
But it also has some very kind of dark and dystopian scenes in it, too, which can be surprising. But I think definitely in that era with so much, acid and, changes in society, people were experimenting a lot more with movies as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
And it was very nice to watch it.
It was, yeah. No, I think, anybody who's, listening to this, it's definitely worth checking out. And if you haven't seen a lot of older movies, this is a good one to get a sense of a very different era that captures the era very well, and I think is still very entertaining
Relevant.
today and very... Well, I don't know how relevant it was back then, but it's very
Yeah.
entertaining. Not everything needs to be relevant.
That's true. That's true.
It's better than relevant. It's a very compelling an entertaining movie and very creative and
Yeah, very creative.
and visually
definitely.
stunning.
Yeah.
And I think the Technicolor really works well here to capture all of the colorful sets. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's also very empowering to show Jane Fonda
Oh
being
yeah.
a warrior, like an astronaut.
I
That's
guess it
pretty
is
cool.
relevant in that sense.
That sense,
I guess everything is
yeah.
relevant.
It is.
More relevant than I
because
give it.
back then women were more like secretaries.
It was, yeah. There was the
you
women's
know.
liberation era.
Yeah, they wanted that. They wanted to see a woman like, being an astronaut and fighting in this.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Cinesinners. So that's it for this Wednesday. You like our content? Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe.
Spread our creepiness to friends and family.
Become a member of our channel. Join our movie club.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.